Before history was written, there was conflict. The visceral, ugly, and chaotic heart of battle. Not the glory, not the strategy, just the blood, the rage, and the terror. The primal scream in the throat of a soldier as he charges into the fray. This brutal reality needed a name. It needed a god. But the god it got was one that even his own kind would despise. He was Ares, son of Zeus, king of the gods, and Hera, queen of the heavens. But he was no favored child. On an Olympus that valued poetry, wisdom, and order, Ares was an outcast. He was the embodiment of bloodlust, the personification of slaughter. His own father, Zeus, famously told him, "To me, you are the most hateful of all the gods who hold Olympus, for you love nothing but strife, war, and battle." He wasn't just the god of war. He was the god of war's horrifying, animalistic nature. But to understand why he was so hated, we must look to his rival, his half-sister, and the other side of conflict. For the Greeks, there were two gods of war. While Ares represented the chaos of battle, Athena represented the strategy of war. He was the berserker's rage. She was the general's brilliant plan. He was the physical act of killing. She was the noble reason for the fight. Ares was accompanied by his sons, Phobos, terror, and Deimos, fear. Athena was accompanied by Nike, victory. The Greeks, who cherished intellect and order, built temples to Athena all across their land. Ares? He had very few, because no one wants to build a monument to the bloody, horrifying truth of what war actually is. And for all his ferocity, the invincible god of war was shockingly easy to defeat. In the Trojan War, he wasn't a terrifying force, but a liability. He was famously wounded by a mortal man, Diomedes, who was guided by Athena. Ares screamed in pain and fled the battlefield. Before that, he was captured by two giants and imprisoned in a bronze jar for 13 months until he had to be rescued. And in his most famous story, he was once again caught and humiliated, trapped in a golden net with his lover, Aphrodite. For the Greeks, the message was clear. Pure, mindless rage will always be outsmarted and overcome. But not everyone saw him this way. Meanwhile, in the city-state of Sparta, a society built on military discipline, Ares was a chief deity. His aggression wasn't a flaw, it was a virtue. But his greatest transformation happened in the rising empire of Rome. The Romans looked at Ares and saw something more. They named him Mars, and Mars was no hated outcast. He was a father to their people, the divine parent of Romulus and Remus. He was second only to Jupiter in their pantheon. Mars was not just the god of war's chaos. He was the protector of the state, a guardian of justice, and a symbol of military power that kept the empire safe. The Romans took the wild, untamed fury of Ares and civilized him. They gave his violence a purpose, the glory and preservation of Rome. While Ares was the problem, the chaos that needed to be contained, Mars was the solution, the controlled, strategic might of the Roman legions. He was a god you prayed to, not just for victory, but for a safe return home. He was a god a father could be proud of. This was the truth the Romans created, that war, if properly managed, could be a noble and honorable thing. And this duality is his true legacy. The hated Greek god Ares still lives in the grim reality of every battlefield, the fear, the chaos, the slaughter. But the revered Roman god Mars lives in the way we talk about war, in the language of strategy, honor, and national defense. The truth about the god of war is that he has two faces, and humanity has been struggling to decide which one to look at ever since.